Hi everybody, Dr. Heather here at Friedland Family Chiropractic and Nutrition, and I have Paula Hart with me here again from Mom's Lactation Resource Center. Paula and I have been shooting a lot of videos and we are loving your feedback and your questions, so keep that coming. We've just noticed a couple things that there might be some confusion on about where Paula's at right now and what her and her friend Jennifer Beck are really doing. So I'm going to have Paula clear some of that up for us as we start. So
sure, that'll be great. Yes, it's true. I was at Swedish American Hospital as a lactation consultant, and prior to that I was also at OSF St. Anthony Medical Center. It became kind of apparent to me as my kids are getting bigger and having kids, and they've asked for some help with babysitting, and my priorities are changing a little bit more in my life. But my passion really is with moms that are breastfeeding, and I did not want to give up on that totally. So I have actually left the hospital background. I am working in private practice with my friend Jennifer Beck, and Dr. Heather here at her practice has been gracious enough to extend us some space to rent so that we can make this dream happen. So if any of you are looking for me, you won't find me at either hospital anymore. You can reach out to myself here at Friedland Family Chiropractic and Nutrition, or you can call Mom's Lactation Resource Center. If you look us up on Facebook, both my phone number and Jennifer's phone numbers are listed there. We would love to talk to you about any questions you have.
yes, that God has worked a great plan here, I feel like, and we won't bore you with the whole story of how we ended up here, but we know that God is just working through Jennifer and Paula at this point to move them in just an awesome direction. So I've been interviewing Paula a lot lately. Let me tell you kind of how that usually happens. We have contact with a lot of moms, and they ask me a question, and if you know me well, I answer the question, and then when they leave, I think, oh, I think there's more to that answer. So when I have experts in my life, then I turn to my experts and say, hey, I answered this question this way, but tell me more. So that is where this question is coming from and what we're going to talk about today. Last week I had a mama in who was struggling with a stuffy nose and some other respiratory stuff herself. And she had a lot of fear that she was going to get her baby sick. And I hear that all the time, you know, especially from our nursing mamas that have to touch their babies, because I think we live in a world that's so germophobic and afraid of all of those things. So I gave her the short answer of that question, which was, oh, if you're fighting it, you're going to make antibodies to that germ that you're going to pass to your baby, so your baby's fully protected, nurse away. And I left it at that, which Paula confirmed for me was the right answer, but the short answer.
That's the short version.
So she was just giving me the long answer, and as she was giving me the long answer, that's when I usually say, oh, if I have this question, I know I'm not the only one. So we should answer that question for everybody. So let's answer that question. When you're sick.
When you're sick, you yourself, and you're nursing your baby, you really need to continue to nurse your baby. First of all, the antibodies that your body's making are specific to those germs, and those antibodies are getting passed to your baby. There's at least 5, I'm sorry, I take that back.
Can I interrupt you just for a second?
Sure.
So let's talk about what antibodies are real quick. So when your body confronts a germ, it makes a specific cell designed to kill that specific germ. That's an antibody. God did it well, and it's very specific to that germ. So if you're fighting something, a specific germ, your body's making a specific cell to kill that specific germ.
That's correct.
That it's going to actually pass through the breast milk to your baby. But Paula did some awesome research. She's going to give you a little bit deeper answer to that. Because I know all of you, and you're like me. You want
to know.
You want the deeper answer. So.
Yes. So some of these antibodies have different chemicals that help boost the baby's own immune system, kind of kick it into gear. Some of these antibodies will actually bind or stick to those microorganisms that are making you sick or would make your baby sick. And then when they get in the baby's gut, they actually grab them out of those little, we call fingers in the gut system, and bind them up so that they can't penetrate through into the baby's system. Some of those antibodies actually decrease the specific vitamins and minerals that those organisms need to grow. And some of them actively just attack those and get rid of them. Some of them attack them by secreting what we call oligosaccharides. Those are simple chains of sugar, but they attract specific microorganisms. And when they have them, well, guess what? Then it forms harmless complexes that don't stick then in baby's gut, and they're excreted when baby poops. Also, there's some very specific ones that are higher in colostrum. We've all heard that colostrum's liquid gold, and there are certain ones such as interferon and fibronectin. Those are things that are actually actively attacking those organisms. Because remember, when a baby's first born, they've received some antibodies through your bloodstream, but now they're going to have to start building their own immune system. And this is going to help with that.
Can I interrupt you just for a second? So I meet a lot of mamas who are really nervous about their babies being exposed to any germs.
Yes.
And I'm not telling you not to be careful, but I also am telling you that the research shows that the only way we build an immune system is by having contact with specific germs. So this, in my mind, when you're breastfeeding, is the perfect time to build a baby's immune system because they're not having to do that all on their own.
Right.
They have the help of the antibodies that you're giving them. But then they're also building that immunity on their own. So it actually builds babies with stronger immune systems in the long run.
That's correct.
So I think just as Americans, we live in fear
of
so many germs and all of that. That really, if we look at it, this is a great time for our babies to build that immune system.
Yes.
I think it's so cool how God did all of that. I tell my kids all the time, my own kids, germs love sugar.
Yes.
So God made a system that makes a sugar that when the germ eats it, it dies. So it's that's just so cool. Not the sugar that we eat, but a sugar that our body's going to make in breast milk that is specific to kill
those organisms.
That organism, which is so amazing the more we learn, if you don't believe God made an awesome body.
Right. Well, the other nice thing, and I know this will hit with Dr. Heather, is most of these, especially the secretory IgA, which is the largest portion of the antibodies, helps fight diseases without causing inflammation.
Oh, yes. We talk about inflammation a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and when we look at that, hi, Annie. When we look at that from a chiropractic standpoint, we see just that the better everybody's body works, the easier it is for us to fight those infections. The research on that is really strong, actually. But it never ceases to amaze me really how beautifully that's designed.
Yes.
Can we talk about one more thing?
Sure.
We were talking about stuffy nose before we came in because we saw a baby with a stuffy nose today. I was telling Paula that I tell my mamas with toddlers that snot is good, right? Because if you look at snot, it has all that stuff in it that Paula just talked about. I won't get too gross, but swallowing it's good. The research shows that puts antibodies into our body that do all the things that Paula just talked about with breast milk. But one of the things that I recognize is that, so I tell my mamas the toddlers do it right when they just wipe their nose instead of blowing all of that snot out. But with nursing babies, it's interesting because they have to be able to breathe through their nose. So
a lot of times the pediatricians will just advise moms getting just like saline. You can get saline that you can deliver 1 or 2 drops just on the outside edge of the baby's nostril, and then take your cleaned bulb syringe and gently suction it right before you breastfeed so that baby has a little bit more of a clear air passage and they can stay latched better.
Right. Just while they nurse, though. I mean, there's not a reason to do that.
No, continually.
Right. Yes. And I see some moms who continually irritate their... You want to see an irritated baby? Suck the snot out of their nose over and over and over.
Yes.
And you will have an irritated baby. We talked about irritated babies last week. That is a good way to get them.
That'll do it. Yes.
We want to hear from you.
Yes. So, and I just have one more quick quote. You know, when I was looking today for information, I looked at a website that everybody has access to. It's called kellymom.com. And she quoted the article from Dr. Jack Newman. Dr. Jack Newman is a pediatrician in Canada who has dedicated his life to breastfeeding, and he has at least one, if not two, breastfeeding clinics in Ontario. And Dr. Jack Newman said, breast milk protects babies against infection until they can protect themselves. And I think that that's such a cool thought process that we've carried them for 9 months, hopefully, and then those little ones are here in our arms and we think that we're done, but we're not done. By giving them our breast milk, that continues that protection.
And it's amazingly done. So I am learning with you. So Paula and Jennifer are here.
Yes.
Ask them your questions. Ask me your questions. We take care of a lot of mamas and a lot of babies. And I am learning right along with you. And Paula will tell you I'm picking her brain all the time. And I think she already knows that's going to continue.
Yes.
And actually she's doing that with me too, because we're learning together. I think this is the closest you've been in a chiropractic, seeing some things that you haven't seen before too. So please reach out to us if there's things that you want to know about, whether it's breastfeeding related or chiropractic related or just health in general related. We want to know what you want to know about. So have an amazing day, and I'm sure we will see you soon.
Great. Thanks.